An Elden Ring movie is officially in the works, and it's already stirring up tons of buzz. A24 is teaming up with Bandai Namco, and they've tapped Alex Garland, known for Ex Machina and Civil War, to direct. While it's still early days, with no release date or confirmed cast yet, fans are eager to see how this dark, mysterious world from the game will unfold on the big screen. There's a lot to unpack, from possible plot lines and character choices to rumors about casting, including a potential lead role for Heartstopper star Kit Connor, so let's dive into everything we know about it. So here's the deal. The Elden Ring movie is officially in the works, and it's coming from none other than A24. That alone has fans buzzing, because A24 is known for taking on bold artistic projects, and with a world as massive and mysterious as the lands between, it seems like a perfect match. But even though the movie has been announced, it's still early days. Super early, actually. We're only at the very beginning of the pre-production phase, which means most of the major pieces are still being figured out. Because of that, details are a bit scarce. There's no official release date yet, no full cast lineup, and only a few tidbits about what the story might look like. What we do know, though, is that Alex Garland is on board as the writer and director. You might recognize his name from projects like Ex Machina, Annihilation, or even Civil War. He's got a reputation for tackling layered psychological stories with a strong visual punch, which could work really well for something as mythic and intricate as Elden Ring. Interestingly, Garland is not just a filmmaker, he's a gamer too. He's admitted to sinking serious hours into Elden Ring, even claiming he's played through the game at least 6 times, which is no small feat. So it's safe to say he's not coming into this blind. And on top of that, he's previously worked in gaming. He helped with the story for Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and served as a story supervisor on DMC Devil May Cry. So there's this added sense of reassurance that he gets the tone and texture of what makes FromSoftware's games so special. Now, even though there's been no confirmation yet on what part of the game or its lore will be adapted, there's still a bunch of speculation swirling around. For instance, fans are wondering whether the movie will follow the core storyline of the Tarnished or spin off into something more original that's just set in the same universe. Given how deeply embedded George R.R. Martin is in the lore, he actually wrote a lot of the backstory for Elden Ring. There's already a rich foundation to build from. You could practically write several movies just off the lore alone, never mind what actually happens in the game. At its heart, Elden Ring follows a Tarnished, someone cast out from the lands between who's drawn back when the Elden Ring shatters. That sets off a massive quest to track down the Shard Bearers, powerful, often corrupted figures holding pieces of the ring, and try to repair it. And while that sounds straightforward, the story is layered with centuries of hinted-at history, broken relationships, and characters driven mad by ambition and divine power. So there's a lot to unpack. One of the most talked-about potential leads is Vyke, a figure from the game who mirrors the Tarnished's journey in many ways. Vyke was once close to becoming Elden Lord himself, but ultimately went mad and had to be taken down. Fans are already throwing his name around as someone they'd love to see take center stage in the film because his arc is tragic, complex, and packed with dramatic potential. As for casting, no one is officially signed on yet, but there have been rumors floating around. One of the biggest ones is that Kit Connor, best known for his role in Heartstopper on Netflix, is being considered for the lead role. If true, that would be a pretty bold pick. Connor has a youthful intensity that could work for a character like Vyke, or even an original Tarnished character if the movie takes a different path. Fans have also been tossing around some dream casting ideas, and one name that keeps popping up is Charles Dance. People are campaigning hard to see him as Gideon, the All-Knowing. That character is a former Tarnished who wants to become Elden Lord himself and takes a rather dark, obsessive path to get there. Dance, of course, is known for playing cold, calculating figures like Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones, so you can see why people think he'd be a great fit. Beyond those early casting rumors, there's still a question of which characters will even make it into the movie. It seems likely that Queen Marika, the godlike ruler of the Lands Between, will be included in some way. She's the one who shattered the Elden Ring in the first place and set off much of the chaos that followed. Her family tree is also a huge part of the story, tangled with figures like Radagon, who is both her consort and her other self. Yes, you heard that right, and their cursed children Miquella and Melania. That lore alone could fill an entire trilogy, honestly. You've got sibling rivalries, divine betrayals, epic wars, and a cursed bloodline, all the makings of a sweeping fantasy saga. Not to mention Ranni the Witch, a fan-favorite character who's become something of a cult icon. Her storyline, which involves rejecting the greater will and trying to carve her own path, could add a rich philosophical layer to the movie. But all of this brings us back to one big question. Will the movie follow the game's plot directly, or just use it as a setting? Because it might actually work better if the film didn't try to condense all of the game's storylines into a single narrative. There are simply too many factions, gods, and branching character arcs to fit neatly into a 2-hour runtime. So maybe a more focused story, inspired by the world rather than tied to every detail of it, could give the movie room to breathe. In terms of timeline, there's no release date yet, and it's tough to say when we might get one. A good comparison could be the Legend of Zelda movie, which was announced in 2023 and is slated for a 2027 release. If Elden Ring follows a similar path, and assuming filming begins in the next year or so, we might realistically expect it in theaters around 2027. That would give the team time to craft the massive sets, costumes, and effects needed to bring a place like the Lands Between to life. And don't expect a trailer anytime soon. Realistically, we probably won't see any footage until about 6 months before release. That means keeping an eye on big gaming and entertainment events like Summer Game Fest or the Game Awards. If A24 and Bandai Namco want to make a splash, those events would be the ideal places to do it. Until then, there's a lot of room for speculation, and that's part of the fun. Whether it's wondering who will play who, how Garland will interpret the lore, or what kind of visual style they'll go for, the possibilities are endless. Some fans are even hoping for multiple films or a series if this one does well. Because let's face it, The Lands Between is too big and too strange for just one movie to cover it all. So while the Elden Ring movie is still a ways off, there's already a solid foundation forming. Between Garland's deep respect for the game, the rich world built by FromSoftware and George R.R. Martin, and the excited fanbase ready to follow the movie into the fog, there's plenty of promise here. It's going to be a long journey, but like any good Tarnished, we'll keep pressing forward, sight of grace or no. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.